let's see if we can go live and see who's all in here already because I haven't been paying any
I've
attention
been paying more attention
to
than
the
you.
chat. Let's scroll back up here to the top real quick. And I know Annabelle had stopped
Yep.
in.
Hey, Annabelle.
Atwood
And
Cynthia was is in here. Nailed it detecting.
Hey,
Welcome. Marty
Verstal.
Welcome.
How are you, Marty?
And I think that's all it's here right now. Swamp
Fox
popping in.
Good
Thanks
evening.
for joining, everyone. We're just getting started here.
Yeah. Hey, Mona.
Hey, Mona. Welcome.
Joe Strike.
Yeah.
Welcome.
We've been sitting talking with our guest in the back room and our co-host, and we don't really have any announcements much to start off the show with, other than the fact that I guess because the other day I did a test run with my new camera. And I guess starting Thursday, I'm going to start going live probably around 11 a.m. and maybe just run for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to start going through the jug of wheat pennies that I have that my dad had found back when he used to metal detect. And they've never been gone through. So each Thursday, and I don't know if anyone else is going live at that time on Thursday. If they are, just someone let me know. Yeah. And I can change my time because I don't want to be, stepping on anyone's if they're going live at that time. I'll have to kind of look into it myself to see if anyone's going live. But as of right now, Thursday around 11 a.m.
Hey, Bill.
I'm going to go live with that and we'll start going through that.
Marcy, welcome.
Them, wheat pennies together, and now Melissa will not be part of this.
That's all.
It's going to be me and
hey, Mark Walker.
And then when we get through them, it's going to take a while probably to do that. I'm going to plan on doing that every Thursday, and just see if there's any Wheaties in there that might be worth something. Get people to start watching and tell me, hey, that's that's one you want to keep, put it off to the side, or if it's just one of the main ones that that's not really worth messing with, just your typical wheat penny. And the ones like that we'll use in giveaways. So hopefully maybe we might come across that. I forget what the main one that everyone looks for. What is it, like a 43?
I have gotten it written down when we had Digologist on as a guest. He gave us some information on that, and I have gotten it written down, but I can't tell you what dates are key dates.
We'll probably talk about this tonight in the live
JP,
stream.
welcome.
But people remember this spur I found. I did a short on it and thought it was like a World War I, World War II era spur, military spur. Well, Mike over at Great Finds took my short and he showed it to a friend of his that has an actual Civil War shop in Gettysburg.
Speaking of Great Finds.
And assured me that spur was a Civil War era spur. So if y'all haven't checked that short out over on our channel, go over to our shorts channel and look for that video. I found that right out in my front yard last Saturday.
Yeah, it was him, not me.
Yeah, it wasn't Melissa. It was me. It was 70% found that.
Oh, I didn't know we was going to start that.
We'll probably be talking about that.
We talked about that, Robert. It's 33 and a third across the board.
You know what? Enough of that. We got to get.
We need to get the other 33 and a third up here.
Yeah, there she is.
Everyone give a big welcome to Jersey Ray Diggs.
Hi, I was reading on Facebook.
Hey, Tony, welcome.
Reading on Facebook.
Hey, Mike, great fine.
How are you?
That's a strike.
Jim Steele.
Good to see you, Stacy.
Well, when I'm in the green room, I got to do something.
And we're going to go ahead and bring our guest up for this evening.
Yep.
So everyone give a big cover welcome to Patrick from Stories from the Signal.
Yes.
Welcome, Patrick.
Hey. Welcome, Patrick.
I don't know my direction.
Thank you so much for having me. Hey, Rachel.
There you go, Rachel.
Right there.
There he is.
Right there.
Hey, Jim Steele, welcome.
Thanks for joining this evening, Patrick.
Absolutely.
Looks like you have a great crew of people online here.
Oh, yes. We always have a good group of people coming.
We always do have a good group of people.
They're just every last one of them are awesome.
Where else you going to be on a Saturday night? Having fun somewhere else? I don't think so. All the fun is here.
There we go.
Well, I won't say that. Well, we try our best. I mean,
Yeah, we try to keep it
I look at it
entertaining.
this way: if people weren't entertained, they wouldn't be sitting there talking to each other and us. So
That's right.
I think people still waiting to see me show up with a black eye.
Robert and I compete against each
We're
other.
always picking on each other.
I wonder what the pool's up to now.
Yeah.
Well, if you're competing, you're definitely winning with that spur. So I got to hand it to you on that one. That's a nice
one. I appreciate that.
I got to call it like I see it there. But you found a nice ring recently, Melissa. That nice gold ring, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good find.
It was a good find.
Yeah, Mike was telling me you were pinging him about that spur there. Yeah, that's a nice one. I have yet to find a spur.
Hey, that spur was just found just feet away from where I had found a grape shot cannonball.
Wow.
We have found, of course, plenty of horseshoes, mule shoe, horse tack, harmonica reed. Found several pieces of bean pot, all within just like a 15, 20-foot area. And that spur was right in that same area, just out a little bit under a bush that sits out there that I've never really got up close to the right into the bush itself. And then last Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday when I found that, and I just thought I'm going to get up against that bush a little bit closer, and got an awesome. I figured I was getting a penny. It was ringing up 81, 82, and I used the Garrett Apex, so it rings high. Anything like that rings high, and I thought, well, was finding a penny, and but no, man, when that popped up out of the ground, I grabbed the camera and did a short on it. So, yeah,
was it deep? Or was it?
It wasn't. That was the thing. It wasn't over maybe 3 inches deep. I figured the roots were pushing it.
Have pushed it up.
We're pushing it up.
As the shrub has grown. Yeah.
Was pushing it up. And then
Bud Files.
When I looked it up,
Danny boy, welcome.
Only thing I could find that was similar to it was from 1909 to 1959 military spur. But Mike over at Great Finds, he showed the video to a friend of his, and like I was saying earlier, he identified it as Civil War era. Yeah. If it was the World War I, World War II, it would have a stamp right here on this little where the buckle would have been. So this one has no marking, so they're saying it's older Civil War era, and that's just awesome for the front yard. It is.
Yeah, Mike is he has so much knowledge, and both Rachel and I have been out with him detecting, and he's great to be around. We get on some really good sites, but when you start pulling stuff, he knows what's coming out of the ground. It's great to have him with you. Yeah.
Hey, Shannon. Yeah, we got to meet Mike down in Virginia to hunt, a seated hunt. And of course, my big loud mouth, he said,
I know you.
I know who you are. I recognize your voice. You're Clark's co-detective. Of course, my head swelled a little bit. But enough about us. We want to talk about you.
I was wondering when you were going to get to Patrick.
Yes.
Well, before we start, let me get tonight's giveaway.
Okay.
So that'll just take 1 minute. I just got to share it.
Well, while he's doing that, Melissa, I saw the comment about your cast iron. Make sure your cast iron pans or something.
Yeah.
I bought my first one in West Virginia. I still have it. I bought it at Family Dollar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have it 30 years later.
Wow. That was Jim Steele made that comment. Yes.
Yeah. Everyone, #story. And tonight we're going to be giving away a 1891 Indian head penny. You'll get, of course, one of the Clark's Cove bracelets, a token, a couple of wheat pennies, sticker pack. And if you're not a prospector pledge, we'll get that taken care of.
Absolutely.
So say around 15 till 9?
9 o'clock, somewhere
9
around
o'clock,
there.
we'll do that.
NorCal, welcome.
We'll do that giveaway. So #story. And now let's get back to our guest.
Let's do that. Absolutely.
Hey, like I said, we're not structured here. We just from whatever pops in our mind, and then we'll start on it. So
yeah, but I have to. Hey, we dig it. Good to see you.
Hey, Gene, welcome. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
We're probably missing people over there in the
I've been trying to get
chat.
them, and I know Rachel has. So,
yeah, so I don't know. Noah said hello to Marty, Shannon. We dig it.
Yeah.
Bill, Papa Rouse, and anyone else that might be joining. We're
Mad Max.
So Patrick, how long have you been detecting?
So I have been detecting for, I'm going on 17 years. I started, my wife bought me a white Prism 2 for a birthday gift many years ago, about 17 years ago. She bought it because she knows that, like, when we would go on like family vacations to the beach, which we didn't do all that often, but I really don't like just laying on the beach. It's just not my thing. But she thought, oh, well, when we go to the beach, you'll have a toy to play with, you know. Little did she know that when you metal detect, it's near impossible to watch your kids. So I'd be off detecting, and you know, she'd be stuck with the kids. But yeah, I have a 20-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old son. So when I first got my detector, I'd hit the local parks and the schools, you know, like everybody does when you start out. And, you know, I got hooked more and more, but had very little time, you know, because of, you know, my family at the time. But about 7-8 years ago, I ended up buying upgraded to an AT Gold, a Garrett AT Gold, because at the time I was hooked on watching Aqua Chigger, going in and out of the streams and finding great stuff. And that completely changed my experience of metal detecting. So getting into the streams I just want to be in the streams constantly. Yeah. So that changed everything about the way I detect and where I detect, and opened up many more avenues. And I found a ton of great stuff in the streams. Plus, it's just fun to be in there. So, yeah. So that's where
thanks, Gene.
That's kind of where it started, and about 17 years, but really active over the last 8 or 9 years. And I started my channel this summer will be about 2 years, maybe June. I think I started about 2 years ago. And that, again, has been like a whole new dimension to metal detecting, because when I get out, I'm thinking about things differently. You know, I'm trying to put together stories and just, you know, doing extra video, you know, taking videos and yeah. So.
Yeah, we have to say ourselves that we're new to your channel. You know, we've been watching your videos as much as possible. We really enjoy them. I mean, we
Dirt Sweepers.
Watching your one there, we was talking in the back.
Yeah.
With where they were, you were watching them do the Indian arrowhead hunting there at Digstock, and that was just awesome watching that video and the way they do we were talking about their technique of scraping in a circle and finding them like that. And Melissa was talking, I said, you never do that here in our ground.
No.
I mean,
that is definitely something we have to put on our bucket list to be able to do.
Yeah.
You can't do that in Pennsylvania either. So there's rocks everywhere.
They didn't listen to me when I promoted you.
Oh, how so?
Because they said they just found you.
Well, no, I mean, we've been watching now for I don't know how long, but we're still kind of new.
Still new,
channel.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
So,
I was teasing you. Oh.
We know.
Yeah, so the video that they were talking about, I was just down in Digstock, you know, ran into Rachel there again. I saw her there last year. I've been out detecting a couple times with Rachel. But there's a technique that they do in finders keepers. I'm from near Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Boiling Springs is my actual address. But down in North Carolina, they have this technique where they like you said, they go back and forth with a shovel, and all they're doing is slowly scraping the soil away until they hear like your metal will go tink, and it'll just hit a rock or a flake or you know, if you're lucky, an intact point. and that's what we're looking for there, and pottery as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, I have pottery in my car, but here's my little flake.
Oh yeah, well,
a little piece of quartz flake. You can't see it on the thing.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, I eyeballed that, but I didn't find any arrowheads. But I did find a piece of pottery.
Yeah, that was a bucket lister for me. Here, I'll show you the arrow that I found, or the arrows I found.
Nice, Patrick.
So this one right there, I started digging, and like within a couple of minutes, I found that one. So both of these are intact arrows there, and this is partial one. And the pottery down here, I was told, and I've been trying to do more research on it. I've been told that these are they would use pine needles to form these, and that's the lines that are in those. But I wanted to do a little more research on that. I'm not 100% sure about that. But yeah, that technique is so much fun to do. And the guy that taught me how to do it, he was in that video, Jeff. What an amazing, fun, positive guy. We just had such a blast doing that. But I'm actually going back down next weekend. Digstock's doing another like mini event they have where they're going to be searching for Native American artifacts.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that, but I'm going to Come Out Swinging. So
yeah, I've been to that Come Out Swinging. That's a great event. That's definitely a great event. I was debating even going to North Carolina, but I mentioned earlier my son and my daughter, neither of them nor my wife, none of them have any interest at all in metal detecting. I've tried for many years, and I don't think it's till I started putting the videos out that they really appreciate what I do now. Still don't have the desire, but when I came back from the Digstock event with those arrowheads, I showed my family, and obviously, and my daughter, she's going to college in North Carolina. So she's actually going to come meet me there, and we're going to look for arrowheads together. So that's going to be, I think, just an amazing weekend. So looking forward to that.
I'm going to say something real quick. You do not look old enough to have children that age.
Yeah.
He looks even younger in person.
Yeah.
I'm old.
I mean, you look like you're in your 20s.
No. if I let this grow out, it gets all gray. Yeah. No, I'm 50. I turned 50 last summer. So
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we three go out and detect together, Mike's the baby.
Yeah.
If you're just popping in, #story, get in on the giveaway going on at 9:00 or 15 till or somewhere. Whenever we, know how it goes. Sometimes we forget about it.
Sometimes we get to chit chatting.
If you're just popping in, #story.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Swamp Rat.
Hey, Swamp Rat.
So, Rob and Melissa, I absolutely love to hear like your favorite finds. So, what are your two favorite finds?
Oh, right now, my favorite find is this spur, especially since I found out what it actually. I have to say, this spur is right now my favorite find.
That is a good find.
Yes, it was. Other than that, some of my best finds have been. Oh, right here, I've got. Let me see. I've got it sitting here. Which one? This one right here is my. Let me make myself.
Hey, Mandy's Candy, welcome.
Is my Walking Liberty $50 that I found this past summer.
Nice.
When we were curb strip hunting.
Hey, Bill Meyer.
And
Mark
and that thing, I didn't have headphones on, but when that apex hit it, man, it was ding ding ding. I mean, it was hitting like 94, 95, 96. And I thought, well, it's going to be a big piece of junk, but it wasn't. It was that, and I was ecstatic when I found that. That was just one of my most awesome finds there.
They scream at you, yeah. That's nice.
I guess, I have to say, my most favorite find has been my toe tap. I think it's just rare. Robert's never found one.
No.
I don't know why. I mean, I have found some other good things, but the toe tap is what stands out in my mind more than anything.
And your silver bar.
Well,
she found a 5 gram. What was it? Or 1 gram
Five.
or 5 gram silver bar.
Nice.
Curb strip hunting last summer.
It was a pendant on a necklace.
Yeah.
But as far as an old find, it would be the toe tap.
Toe tap.
Yeah. Isn't it funny, like how, I said I've been detecting for like 17 years. Like when I started, I would have thought like, all right, I'm going to find some coins and some, maybe some rings, and like I said, I was mostly doing parks in school when I first started. But like when you really get into it and start learning about what you can find and what other people are finding, all of a sudden you start building these bucket list things of like, oh, I wish I found this or that, or, and a toe tap. Last summer, I found my first toe tap. It was really beat up, but you find it and you think, man, this thing is interesting, that somebody used this to protect their shoe. It's just,
yes.
It's so much fun when you start finding those things that other people have found that are out there.
And I say this all the time, Patrick, because Rachel has talked about this. It's the personal items that I love myself to find because they tell the story.
Yes. Yeah. I work really hard to, when I find stuff. Now, obviously, there's very few things that you can find that you can associate to somebody, but I go out of my way to research to figure out who possibly could have owned this thing, which I just love doing. I love, digging in and hopefully trying to put some provenance to, what you found. But oftentimes I just waste my time. But
I cannot put things into words like you can. You do it so well. But that's what I talk about this almost every live stream and sometimes in our videos. But when we're doing the home sites, I like to just stand and look to see the path that they took, the way things were, what you find if there was a lady living there, kids living there. Well, and when I find things like the milk glass, because I know most generally that's ladies that's had cold cream or something like that. So then I start thinking about, okay, they had a little bit of money to spend on cold cream and facial cream. I just look at things like that and just try and think about their story and how they lived. And I know it sounds so crazy, but sometimes you just want to feel them there.
Yeah.
I love doing the old homes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I found last summer in my home little town of Boiling Springs, there's like a town, there's a lake. It's a man-made lake, from springs, and there's a couple houses around it, so the town really grew up around that lake, and there's a foundry there, and I got a couple permissions on.
We're sorry to hear about that, Max. Sorry, go ahead, Patrick.
Right. I got a couple permissions on some of the houses, like right on the lake, and on one of them I found a compact, like it was a Pompeian bloom. So it would have been like rouge, from the 20s to 30s. And, and then you start digging into the history of around the lake. And there was a bandstand at one point, so you can almost picture like, some young woman in 1920s, like putting this makeup on and then going over to the bandstand and, and you're standing there where they were, 80, 90 years ago. And you really try to put yourselves in their shoes. It's just, what an incredible way to connect, to people from the past. It's just, I think I've heard of metal detecting as like a way to time travel, and it kind of becomes that, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I have to agree with you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know, because I have a couple of things here in the command center. Another cool item that I found this past summer while curb strip hunting was this little bitty cap gun.
Oh, nice.
And it's got an R on it for it was at what was that Roy Rogers, I think was and it the fact that it's still that was on a curb strip. And then this little car was found in the yard here at the house.
Oh, nice.
It has no markings on it. I don't know if it's a Tootsie, a Lesney, or what, but that was found here in the yard. So that's a couple other my really good finds that I'm proud of that I found. And most of Melissa's stuff is out in the shop that she's got.
Yeah.
I keep a few things in here. I mean, just in case we need something on hand. But,
Yep.
Yeah.
So tell us about your finds.
Yeah.
My finds. So my absolute favorite find. So when I first got my Garrett AT Gold, I started jumping into streams, and I don't know. Do either of you stream hunt? I know Rachel does because I've been in streams.
We
with
have
her.
one time actually took our detectors down through the stream, and
yeah, I absolutely love it. You know, it takes you back to being a kid. You know, when I was a kid, we'd walk in streams and look for crayfish and stuff. But so I got my detector, and first time I was able to get into a stream with one, and I'd read about a old swimming hole that was adjacent to an amusement park, and it was actually tied to the amusement park. And the park itself had been converted to just a modern public park, and that place had been hunted like crazy. I'd tried detecting there once or twice, and really didn't find anything. But I thought, well, let me give the stream a try, and let me see if I could find the swimming hole. So I ultimately, like, over the course of the first summer, I got the detector, started like going back and forth, and I was trying to figure out, like, how do I even use this in the stream? The techniques and the tools are all different, So it takes a little time to get used to it when you first start out. But right at the end of the year, it was like probably in like October. It was just getting a little too cold in the streams, but I decided to give it one more try, and I found a barber half, and it was the first half I've ever found. The first barber, I was like, oh my god, this thing is amazing. But then I had to wait the entire winter to get back into that stream. Now that I knew where I think the swimming hole was, but I'd gone back there repeatedly, like over and over again for many years. I've pulled over 70 silver coins from that location, and a number of rings. I have 5 gold rings from there, and they're all pretty old. There's some class rings from the 19 teens and 1920s, but my absolute favorite find from that whole place was a sterling silver bracelet that was it had a military ID on it, and I was able to track the person through that military ID. Turns out he served in World War II, and unfortunately had passed away by the time I found it. But I was able to connect with his family. I spoke with his brother on the phone, and when I started talking to him, he knew right where I had found it because he and his brother swam in there. And they said that when he got out of the service, they were living in that area where I live now. And it would have been between like 1945 and 1949 when he lost that bracelet. So I was able to like get it back to the family. So it's now hanging on his great grandson's wall. So that's going to be hard to beat, that story, just being able to get something back to a family. And they didn't even know it was lost, but it's so nice to get like history like that back. Yeah.
I just want to take a minute and tell Max that we're sorry for his loss, and everyone send him good thoughts and prayers.
Yes.
I know it's a difficult thing to go through. When I lost my dad back in 2012, and you never get over it. I mean, so we're sorry about that, Max.
Yes, absolutely. Prayers are with you, Max.
Yep.
That's what I was saying. My dad's been gone 16, 17 years Friday. Seems like yesterday, but it also seems like forever ago.
Yeah.
And I think if I read correctly, Marty Verstahl just recently suffered a loss as well. So our prayers are out to you as well, Marty.
Yeah, out to everyone.
Yeah. We love you guys. Now, we were watching a video where you found a gold ring, wedding band.
In return.
And it had the initials. Now, do you know if it actually got back to the actual owner?
Yes. It was a little confusing to explain in the video. I tried my best, but what happened was a friend of mine got us on a farm, and she was trying to get permission to this for a while. There was a home from the 1800s that's no longer there that we were interested. So it turns out the time that she was trying to get with the landowner to get permission, he was in the hospital. He was in his late 90s and had passed away right around that time. So she ended up finding out that there was a son that had ownership of this property, and she spoke to him, and over time, it didn't bother him that we would go and metal detect, and so we found the 1800s home. Mike was with us, Aqua Chigger was with us. We had a couple people there over a couple times. We found some nice stuff there. There was a seated quarter found there. There was a couple Civil War items found there, and some Indian heads. A couple nice things came out of the ground. And I decided to detect around what was their modern home where they had grown up, and had found the ring there. And we went and talked to the guy who gave us permission. And, we obviously gave it back, and they knew who it was. They had, it was his sister's. And so I did get to meet his sister then. And she was showing us pictures of like her. So I'd found it under a wash line, and I was able to, she was showing us pictures of her as a little girl by the wash line. It just brought back all these memories for her. So she had lost it a year after she got married back in 1973, I think it was. Wow. So that ring was lost for about 50 years, or just under 50 years. And she's now going on her 50th anniversary with her husband. So that was kind of special to get back to them. Yeah.
I would say so. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And it's, when you find something like that, I don't know what you could turn a gold ring in for, a couple $100 maybe, or, who knows what it would go for. But the story is so much better, so happy to get it back to them. And obviously they were thankful, and we've had a great time detecting that property. So, it all works out.
That's something we want to really hope to find a ring that we could return. Like we've said, the only thing we've got to return is a cell phone that Melissa found on the curb strip next to the stop sign, and had the young ladies all her ID and credit cards and everything in it, and she was just a couple of blocks away, so we tracked them down and knocked on the door, and got
she had laid it on top of her car.
Ah.
She stopped.
I guess when she
and
stopped,
turned, it went.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's super rewarding when you help somebody unexpectedly, somebody you don't even know. Yeah, there's a ring finder service out of Canada. There's a guy, Chris Turner, who runs it. I was doing it for maybe about 4 or 5 years. The way it works is you sign up, and he actually interviews you to make sure that what you're doing, because his reputation's part of the service, right? And what you basically do is, at the time I was doing this, it was, I don't remember, like maybe $30 a year, gives you like rights to an area. And he has this across the globe. Like if you look up ring finders, you'll see that they do across the globe. And what would happen is, if somebody loses a ring, you could punch it in, and if you do a Google search, ring finders will pop up. Great. Chris Turner is just such an amazing guy. Like when I joined, like he talked to me, and the unfortunate thing was, like for me in middle of Pennsylvania, it was very rarely I would get a call that somebody lost a ring. I think it happens much more frequently, like on the beach, the ocean, whatever. But, I would get these sporadic calls, and they were always like upset and wanted to find the ring, but there were all these like unreal circumstances that just made it so hard. So I just couldn't keep up with it. But I do recommend it. I did help, I think it was 3 or 4 people find rings over those couple years, and that was rewarding. But there was a couple that I just couldn't find. Like they had like unrealistic expectations that it just didn't work out. But
yeah, I know Rob with FL Thunder Digging. He is part of a ring finders, his metal detecting club, and I know he talks about they get calls they get a lot of calls to come out and find people's rings. And I seen where he said they had returned over 700 rings. I mean, that's
amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
That is awesome. And we tell people, we're not part of any ring finders or anything, but anytime we promote ourselves, if we're out at a restaurant, we're talking to people and we give them our card, we always tell them, if you lose anything like a ring or something, basically where it's at, give us a call. We would love to come out and do something, but we've never had.
The closest thing that we've had has been a key.
Yeah.
Lady, we were, and we've told this story several times.
Finding goodies too.
But we were metal detecting curb strips, and a lot of people, well, I can't say a lot, but some of the residents will come out and say, hey, I don't want you in my yard. Well, we just stay in the curb strips, which is city property. And I said, here, let me tell you who we are and what we're about. So I handed her my card. I said, if you know of anyone that ever loses anything. She said, well, I lost my Jeep key in the backyard, and my Jeep has not been started since last winter. So we got permission to go in the backyard and do some detecting. And I did find her key at the very end. But of course, we found some little toy cars and a little bit of bits and bobs. But I did find her key, so she was very pleased with that.
Yeah.
I think it left her with a different opinion on metal detectorists.
I would hope so.
Yes.
Yeah, I would hope so. I was in a stream last summer, and a guy came over and was asking what I was doing, and turns out he had bought a metal detector and just never really used it, like never got good at using it. But he had a nice old home that he was really eager for me to come over and detect. So I detected his yard, and we had a blast. Like, we were finding some good stuff, like some old toys and just fun things that I kept. I left everything with him because he was so interested in the history and the history of his home. It just belonged with him. And as I was detecting, like, all these neighbors were coming by and talking, and the very next door neighbor came by. I was walking, and she's like, "Oh, go detect in my yard. Go see what you can find." And so I went in her yard. I found a ring. And when she came back, I said, "Do you remember ever losing anything in your yard?" She's like, "No, I don't think so." And we pulled the ring out, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's my ring. I lost that like 3 years ago."
Oh, wow.
That's
yeah,
cool.
That is cool.
Good luck on that, Alicia. Yeah.
I have a couple old class rings that, unfortunately, like, when I've researched the people, that they've just have passed away. And I looked for descendants and I couldn't find any. So I have a couple like that. And one of the class rings I actually found, with the initials, I looked the person up in their yearbook, and it was like, oh my gosh, so eerie. The used to see the picture of the person, and he's the only one that matched the initials. But then as I was going through the yearbook, it was an online yearbook. I found another picture of him, posing with some club. And sure enough, you could see him wearing the ring that he lost that I found. It's just so eerie to see that.
That would be.
Now, I'm going to tell a story back way before we even started metal detecting. After my dad had passed away and I was going through stuff, he had a big class ring from the school that I went to, and it had initials in it. And I remember when he found that ring, and he never did find out who it was because the initials of the boy that had it was not in any of our yearbooks. Well, I posted it on Facebook, and a girl I went to school with told me who it was. And so I got a hold of his family, and he had passed away. And I asked him if they want. I asked his dad if he wanted the ring, and he said, "No, I don't want that ring." So I still have that ring. Today, I keep it up there on the shelf. So, but that was
Robert felt really bad because he
did.
Didn't know if he stirred up some memories or what. But the parent did not want the ring.
Not want the ring. He said, "No."
I appreciate that, because that gold ring that I just returned, I was a little nervous going to meet the people because, I had no idea if it was going to be somebody who passed away, or, you just don't know, if you're going to open up memory, but thankfully, we got it back, she was still alive. So, but yeah, you never know. You never know.
You never know about things like that at all.
And if you're just coming into the chat, everyone, #story, we'll be doing our giveaway here in just a few minutes.
Won't be long.
Won't be long.
Not much longer at all. Hey, Chris Golding,
Chris
welcome.
Golding. Welcome. So do you have any anything that you're really looking to a bucket list or find? What is or what some people call their white whale, that's that one find that they just haven't found? Do you have?
Oh, for sure. For sure. The one that's driving me absolutely crazy is seeded. Any seeded coin. I'll take any seeded coin. I've been very fortunate to pull here in Pennsylvania, we pull colonial, we pull, I have a number of coins from the 1700s. I have a lot of coppers. I have Indian heads going to the 1860s. I just have not found it seeded yet.
Yeah.
And I've been with a couple people that have found seeded on places, permissions that I've brought them into, and I am genuinely very excited when they find stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, damn, I wanted that seeded coin. But yeah, seeded right now is probably the one thing that's really, really eluding me. But we'll get it at some point.
I'm wanting to find, and I know this is on Melissa's too, is a skeleton key.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
As of a couple of weeks ago, that was on my list.
Uh-oh.
Lucky.
It's a tiny one, so I don't know how to feel about it. But I found this guy down in North Carolina at Dig Stock, so
I wonder if that's been to like a secretary.
It might be a little short. It could be a chest.
Yeah, there's a number on it, and it did come from a chest. So
okay.
So I was able to find like its use. But yeah, that was, I scratched that one off. But
yeah, and definitely I want to find something seeded. And I guess my one thing is I'd love to find a Benjamin Franklin $50. That's definitely at one of the top on my bucket list. I mean, wanting to find. And I think I really feel I'm going to, one of us is when we get back to curb strip hunting.
And that's going to be real soon.
That's getting ready to be real soon.
Snakes are getting ready to come out.
Yeah, everything's starting to bloom and get warm here. And when it starts snakes starts coming out. And I'm not getting out in the woods and protecting and bottle digging. So we might have tomorrow and next weekend, and that's going to be it. Then it's time to get back out in the curb strips. And we're going to start
working on permissions.
Start door knocking some. And
is that something you routinely do, or?
No,
we never really door knock.
We need to. Robert has done it actually once and got a yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, the second time, the wife said, "Well, my husband will be home here after a while if you want to come back." Well, Robert went back and knocked, but no one answered. So
But that's the one thing we're going to start door knocking.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah.
I mean, we do. I know people, if they come to our town, it's so full of old homes. They'd be like, why are you not knocking on these people's door? Whether they tell you no or yes, just go up and knock, because you're never going to get a yes until you do.
Right.
So, and then just driving by, always dreaming of what's in those yards. We'll go up because they're allowed to say, sure, have at it, and yeah.
Well, you gotta look at it this way too. It's always going to be a no unless you're up there knocking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
we're just driving by. It's a no.
Yep.
That does put me out of my comfort zone as well. That initial like going and talking. I've found in some cases just having a couple items in your pocket, like the kinds of things that you might find in your yard, that works. Especially if you start talking about the history of their home. So I had found, there's a lot of farmland near me, and there's a park that most certainly at one point would have been a farm. And when I got a year ago, I just got a Mind Lab Equinox, and so I wanted to try it out. And so I just jumped over to the park, and I found a large scent and an Indian head. And so right next door is a farmland. And I thought, well, if I'm finding this right here, I should go talk to this farmer. And the guy's as nice as can be. You know, I went over and I talked to him, but I had the items in my pocket that I had found, and I showed him. I said, you know, these are the kind of things we find, and you know, and yeah, he was great, you know. But I've had some strange experiences door knocking too. The dogs attacking me, and you know, you do run into some fun stuff. But yeah, that's out of my comfort zone too. But once I get to know the people, though, like I have great conversations with them, you know, and especially if their home's historic. Like most people who own a historic farm, historic property or building, they like talking about it. You know, so you can. I've got some great tours of like nice old stone houses just by talking to people about their property. I did an old mill that I'm still working on the video. I took so much video of this mill. It was the most amazing structure with so much engineering in it. But yeah, I mean, the guy that owned that mill was more than eager to talk about it with me. And I got to detect, you know, in the stream and around the property. I didn't unfortunately find anything, but the best thing was just touring the mill. It was just amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, when the first, well, it might have not been the first door, but when I knocked on them at one couple's door, they took us in and was showing us their house. Man, they had some awesome stuff in it, and the permission was great. We ended up finding I don't know how many wheat pennies, about 13 wheat pennies out of that yard.
I found 3 in one hole.
And then you found how many foreign coins? You found like 2 or 3 foreign coins.
2 on the curb strip, and I found gold. And that was my first, or was that?
That was me that
yeah,
found the
you
gold.
found gold.
Yeah,
yes,
it was part of I'm going to figure part of a watch band or something. It was you know, stretchy like that.
Yeah.
And when I tested it on our tester, it come up 10 karat gold. It tested at 10 karat gold. So that was an awesome permission. It really was. They kept a couple of things. I found an old hem weight and some kind of little brooch, and they wanted to keep that stuff. So
and one of the foreign coins.
And one of the foreign coins.
And a Wheatie.
And a Wheatie.
Which, you know, that is great. Yeah, I encourage that because we get to make the video and we find the find, you know, so that's what makes us feel good. And so we like for them to take what they want to keep as well. Except now I did on one permission where we were detecting, this lady come out and she said, "Hey, have you found anything good? Won't you come over and do our yard?" And she had a metal detector, and
it was one of the cheap Chinese knockoffs.
It was something that maybe a child would want to use.
I don't even know about that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But in her backyard, I had this awesome signal, and Robert and her were talking, and I was digging, and it was probably, I'm going to say 5 or 6 inches down, and it was a silver ring. It was like a signet ring. And to look at, you could tell by looking at it that it was an older ring.
Yeah.
And so I offered that to her because she's like, "Oh, wow." I said, "Well, I found it in your yard. It is yours to keep if you would like." And I think now, if my memory serves me correctly, she was going to, because they were new homeowners there. She knew the people that had owned it previously. So I'm hoping that that's the route she took to see if it belonged to one of them. Yeah.
And that is, you know, that's one of the things about, so if you're door knocking and going to property, you know, you're going to a much better chance of it not having been detected, you know, other than hitting. And I'll tell you what, that's one of the things I really love about hitting streams is because up until very recently, streams have not been hit, like public streams where people fish and canoe and kayak and all that and swim. Like there's some great stuff sitting on the bottom of these streams that, you know, detectors really haven't hit like they have with parks. But one of the things about going and door knocking is that, you know, what if they want to keep everything? And I was just on a permission the last weekend with some friends, and that was the case, is that the owner was really into the history of his home and he wanted to keep it. And and I think when I first started detecting, I would have had a harder time with that, because what do you do if you find something and the owner wants everything you found? And it's like, well, I've never found a wheat before, I've never found this before, but after you've been around a while and you start collecting stuff, it's a little bit easier. I still I found this that's because I just found this last week, and I found this little tractor here. I found this last weekend.
Oh, look at that.
That's one of the things that's going back to him. And I also found a Lone Ranger badge.
It had the little guy on it.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah.
You hold that up
Hold
again.
that up again.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Isn't that too cute? Look at that.
Oh man, that's just. If I find something, it'd be just half of it.
Yeah, I find plenty of things that are cut in half. So yeah.
But man, that is.
But yeah, we're gonna. There was four of us there that day. We're gonna give everything back to the guy, because he was a really interesting guy. We got to talk to him for a bit. He knew John Wayne, so he was telling us stories about how he knew John Wayne, and I'm like, wow,
neat.
It's great the stories you get from people. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like taking the videos there, that's the fun part. For me anyway.
Yeah, we had this one permission that these people give us, and they took everything. There was no. They weren't even going to ask if we wanted anything. Man, they just took it, and they took trash and all. I mean, it was just.
Yeah, my one permission was like that. She wanted everything. So she asked me to find the ring that her daughter lost, and it was an heirloom ring. She told me I could keep everything if I find the ring. So I found the ring. Now I keep everything. But it was James Dean's grandmother's ring.
That was a nice ring.
Yeah, and hardly anybody watched the very end where she tells you who it belonged to. So it was James Dean's grandmother.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been.
I do remember.
Oh,
Couple of years.
Yeah. Well, Rachel, you have any questions for Patrick?
I already know what he takes with him to snack on.
That's right. That's right.
I was gonna say, I was thinking about you the other day because we have this grocery outlet now, competing with Aldi's and Lidl, and they had Uncrustables. So I was like, I have to get these.
Yeah. So for those that don't know what Rachel's talking about, I met these two women in New Hampshire back at one of the Bones events, and they, so I met them there, and since have detected with them twice in North Carolina at Dig Stock. The nicest two women, and they when I was down at Dig Stock, were bringing these peanut butter and jelly Uncrustable sandwiches, like something you'd send off to with your kid to go to elementary school. They're the best things ever. They're frozen, they come in the freezer section, and you just throw them in your pack. They're frozen in the morning, but by the time lunch comes, they're still cold, but they're not frozen anymore, and they're just so delicious. So I take them with me every time I metal detect now. So I always have, and I always take enough. Whoever I'm going with, I always have enough for all my friends. But we slowly, so the one group I'm fortunate. I have Mike. Mike is about a half hour from me. Mike from Grapevines. There's I don't know if some people might know Billy Beeps. She has a Facebook group. It's called Billy Beeps. She's in Carlisle. So I wouldn't be surprised. There's a couple people on here that follow her. And there's a couple other friends we have that Jill and Pete, and they're all within like 15, 20 minutes, a half hour of me. So we get out quite a bit. So we all bring snacks with us, obviously, every time we go, and Uncrustables are our favorite. Both actually, grape and strawberry. And
I was gonna say I bought both. I bought the grape and the strawberry.
They're both really good, and they also have it. They don't say it's Nutella, but they say it's like a hazelnut spread. So I don't know if they're using Nutella or not, but those are really good. It's just like chocolate in the middle of bread. It's delicious.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I drove
Good.
the 3.5, 4 hours to go hunt with them just for an Uncrustable.
Yep, and some root beer too. I like to have
And
root beer in
yeah.
hand too.
Yeah, if I forget my Coke, I know Patrick has root beer.
I think now would be a good time to maybe.
Oh, you want to do our giveaway?
What do you think?
It probably would.
It is 5 minutes till 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it.
Everyone, if you have not hashtag story,
Yep.
please do so. We'll give you, I don't know what, 30 seconds to
Yeah.
get their hashtag in.
Get your hashtag in
And
there.
we'll
Yes.
start counting down
Yeah.
and give this giveaway away.
Hey, Patrick, do you have any lucky token or anything you do? You know, any I forget the word for it now, but anything you do to bring yourself luck when you go out detecting?
Like a superstition kind of thing or a technique?
Yeah, superstition.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, Pat.
I'm not overly superstitious, but when I'm with those friends that I mentioned when we're down in Digstock, we joke around a lot, and we'll sometimes we'll do rock paper scissors, and we all pick like a lane, and we're all gonna go straight down the lane. So the rock paper scissors, if you win, you get to choose which of the 3 lanes you're gonna get into. We've thrown sticks out, and whatever way the stick points, that's the way you got to go. You know, I don't know, just fun things. You know, when you're out there in the field and you're not getting any signals, you do whatever you can to strum up new signals. But
yeah.
Okay, let's get this giveaway out of the way.
Let's do 10.
Let's see, we got wait, gotta let me get over here.
Oh my goodness, you were just there.
Don't let me you'll be getting ahead of me here now. 9,
8,
7,
6,
and 5,
4,
3,
2.
1.
Good luck, everybody.
And let's draw.
Yes.
See who's gonna win this giveaway tonight.
Let's see who it shall be.
Going to
Looks
be
like Bill Papa Rouse. What's in the dirt?
Congratulations.
Yes, Bill, are you still in the chat?
I think he is.
Yeah, he is, because you just hashtag story like a second ago.
Yeah, I know. I've seen him. So, and I know we still have Bill's address.
We do. Let me look through my records here. I want to make sure I do have it correctly. So give me just a second, folks.
Right there. Right there. Right here.
I know, but is that his address? No, it is not.
Oh, no, it's not. That's just, okay.
Yep.
My bad.
Okay.
Yeah, he's there. Awesome. Congratulations,
Congratulations, Bill. And that is
we don't
Clarksville, correct, Bill?
Don't want to tell his whole address.
Oh, I'm not going to. That's the reason I just said Clarksville. And Connie Barnes, did you get your mail?
Yeah, that's right.
You should have gotten it yesterday, according to the postal receipt. Yes.
Yep.
Bill said yes.
Yes.
Okay, good deal.
Okay. Awesome, Bill. We'll have that out to you probably Tuesday. Get that out to you.
Yep, it'll be Tuesday when we get it out to you, Bill.
Yep.
Congratulations.
And what you'll be getting, in case you didn't hear what you're getting a 1891 Indian. You'll be getting one of our Clark's Cove bracelets.
Okay, Connie.
There's a token, a couple of wheat pennies, a foreign coin, and a sticker pack. So awesome.
Yes, congratulations,
we will get
Bill.
that out Tuesday. All right. Sounds good. Awesome.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
And Connie said she had not gotten hers.
She has
yet,
not gotten
so
hers
maybe
yet.
Monday. I do have the tracking number.
Yeah, we
to
have
that.
the tracking number on that, so we'll have to check on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good night, Bill Meyer.
Cool.
All right.
We have to keep stuff written down here. I mean, we are the world's worst about forgetting, and So we keep.
And I have a piece of paper, a Post-it note, a notebook, something stuck everywhere. And wherever I'm sitting closest to is what I grab. And so then when I have to refer back to that, I'm like, where is it at? And on the back of what magazine or
Even though we have our binder back there, and I always try to tell her to keep stuff updated in it.
Yeah,
so
I do my best.
Writing it on
you go in their house, you think it's wallpaper. It's just Post-it notes.
Hey, Danny, welcome. Thanks for joining. So I mean, yeah, we have to, because otherwise we'd never get anything out to anyone.
Night, Chad. Hashtag Team PG5.
Good night, Nailed It Detecting. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for joining.
Yes, absolutely.
We're hanging out here tonight with Patrick from Stories with
Yes,
the Signal.
and those of you who may not be familiar with Patrick, I'm sure Rachel has or will drop the link in chat. So
I will. I haven't.
Which I have seen a couple of people have said they've went over and
checked him out.
Yeah, and just I know Gene with We Dig It said they went over and subbed and so yeah, it's all. Hey Tony, welcome. Thanks for joining tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And I had a question that I was going to ask, and it just whew.
Well, that's not a surprise on your part.
Gee, thanks. I appreciate that encouragement there. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
yes, Mary. Robert is very forgettable. Forgettable.
Yeah, that's okay. I had an answer and I just forgot it. So,
if you could detect,
that's a good one.
That is a very good one, isn't it?
If you could detect.
Wow.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Wow.
I'll just sit over
Jim
here.
Steele, you come up with a good answer for that one for me, okay? Because I have no comeback on that one. Anyhow, if you could detect anywhere in the United States or outside the United States, where would it be?
Oh, okay, inside or outside? Yeah, I have to say I'm pretty fortunate in living in Pennsylvania, because I think the kind of history that you'd want to dig up is going to be in the kind of area that I'm in. So I'd have to go outside of the United States. I would want to go and detect in Europe. I think I would want to. Yeah, I'd want to find some Roman coins. That would be it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I am. Like I said, I'm pretty lucky. I think Pennsylvania is a good area, and I actually hunt down in West Virginia from time to time too. There's a couple sites down there that Mike has got me on. That, and I plan to get down into West Virginia this summer. I was telling you in the pre-show. There's some research I've been doing on.
Keep us posted on that, Patrick.
Just
I will. Yeah. I know this isn't right near you, but maybe an hour away or so. There's.
I'm going to guess 3-4 hours, maybe.
Oh my goodness! It takes from the time we get out of this holler and out to the highway will take us about 45 minutes.
Just to
really?
Get
okay.
To get to Interstate 64.
To get to 64, where then we can actually get started going somewhere. So yeah. But
I'm constantly digging into, there's a really nice bookstore near me that I'm always going and pulling out books. So this one here is, I've got all my Post-it notes in there too. This one here is the War of the Rebellion, official records of the Union and Confederate armies. This was like a large volume, a large series. I just picked out one volume because like a lot of it is stuff around me. And the reports in here are, like the generals sending reports, or the officers sending reports like up to the generals. And so, you start reading this and you get glimpses of like where they could have been camping and where they marched to and from. You get, some of those details. So I somewhere in here I was reading and started reading about the Coal River Valley. So there's like a big Coal River that there was a lot of movements through. And so I picked up this book to get through there. But yeah. And trying to tie things back to we get on some sites where we just start finding, Civil War bullets, and you kind of vaguely know what happened there, but you really don't have like that true account of like who were those exact soldiers that went through, And so I picked up this book recently, 35 Days to Gettysburg, and in there's the diaries of a Union and a Confederate soldier that are kind of crossing paths. So this book is great because it actually gives reference to modern day roads and stuff. So the author that put that together has, the diary entries, but then he goes on to explain, this is roughly where they were talking about today. So I really hope to get on and find some, artifacts. Obviously, you find a drop bullet, you have no idea what soldier lost it. But I have a story now, right? I have diaries that I hope to put some videos together of like trying to trace their paths and, cross streams and maybe find some relics that maybe they or their troops have dropped. But,
yeah.
That,
we were talking earlier, Robert was talking about the spur that he found and the grape shot, which was right in our front yard. Well, that's just a short amount of distance between the two finds, but we have never been out into the woods at all with our detectors at all. So that's definitely something
there
we
are
need
a couple
to
of
do.
areas that I'm wanting to go out and with the detectors here behind the house up in the woods. There's a couple of places.
Well, you know me, when I come out to visit, I'll climb up in those woods.
Yes, you and Slash can have at it. Speaking of which, Patrick, have you ever met Slash before?
Well, Slash is on Rachel's channel quite a bit on her.
No, he hasn't met him physically yet.
Yeah.
I think he is so cute. He loves to be part of the show.
Yeah,
he does, little meaty butt.
So have you done any research into the spur? I know you just recently found that, or the cannon shot there, like.
No.
See, those are the things that drive me crazy. I'd want to know like who came through there, right?
Well, see, there is an area there over in Louisa, Kentucky,
which is across the river,
which is just probably
Big Sandy
25 minutes from us. There's a place called Doss Hill that supposedly a battle was fought. They won't let anyone in there.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that's off limits. So, we kind of figure maybe they were moving through this area right here where we're at. I mean, otherwise, I don't know why these items would be laying in the yard if they had not had a camp.
Yeah.
I mean, bean pot, finding the old parts of bean pot and the harmonica reed, the horseshoes, the spur, the little grape shot. I mean, it all points that someone had to be camped here or something.
Yeah. There was some amount of time, spent here for sure, and then they moved on. It's just which direction did they move
Thanks
through?
For joining us tonight, Dennis. We hope you feel better.
Yes, Dennis. We hope you get to feeling better. Take it easy. Thank you for joining us.
But yeah, I mean, but no, other than trying to do research on maybe trying to find out, no, we haven't.
Your mind always gets pulled in other directions, and you know how it goes.
Yep.
It is tricky, like when you read through the officers' reports, like sometimes, and who could blame them? They're in the middle of battle and moving troops around, but their reports sometimes are, we camped on a hill 2 miles from this particular town. It's these vague descriptions that make it really hard to know. So in some ways, you probably are tying the story better together than some of the literature would have it. But that stuff just drives me crazy when I find stuff. Why was it there? And then I make up stories, and I just make up stories about it.
Yeah. And it's amazing the stories that you could, if you could piece them all together. And but once again, going back into books and notes, people that lived back then, of course, they're long gone. There's no one to actually physically talk to, and it's just hard. But you just have to do the best you can and paint the picture and try and tell the story. Is basically it.
And that's what, not quite all of my videos, but I think some of my favorite videos are the ones where like I piece together as many facts as I can, but then I weave in a little fiction along the way, not deceiving anybody. I tell them, this is what may have happened, but, I found a friend's yard in central Pennsylvania. I found a U.S. compass. And it was a World War II compass. And when I first got it, I opened it up. I thought it was a pocket watch, but it was compass. The needle and the glass were long gone, but you could see the north-south indicators and all. And then a short while later in the same yard, I found metal. And it took me forever to figure out what this metal was. It was in a little rough shape, but I ultimately found an example of it. And it was given to an Italian soldier who served a year of active duty in World War I. Wow. So they don't quite tie together, right? Those two pieces, other than somebody may have gone over, a U.S. soldier went over and maybe got a souvenir, so he went over to World War II and maybe got a souvenir from, a soldier that fought in World War I. No way to tell, but I went down so many rabbit holes on this one. Like I went as far as buying deeds of the property to see who was, who lived there during that time period of World War II. And I was able to actually trace records. I found one owner that was enlisted, but he never served in foreign, he never went overseas. And I found another guy who did serve on, in foreign soil. So I think it was his compass for sure, but I have no way to know if the Italian metal was his or not. But I made up a story about it anyway. And I tried to paint a beautiful picture. I didn't want it to be so grim, but that stuff I just spend forever doing that stuff, trying to figure out what this thing is and who lost it and why. And
it is, yeah.
It's fun to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we do a little bit of research on maybe if we find a bottle or something, but just the basics, just
history on the particular item itself.
Know kind of a little bit about it, but. I know Mike was asking me the other night, me and him was talking, if I had found any Civil War bullets here in the yard. And that's the one thing that we haven't found. Not to say that there might not be one out there, because every time we go through the yard, we're finding something, and then we'll wait a while and then go back out and hunt it again. And like I said, never know when we might clear something out, because we're always finding a lot of nails and stuff like that, and found several square nails in the yard. And then once you let that all heal up and then go back out, you never know, one of these days if I could find like a 3-ringer out there, then I would have to sit and say, yeah, for sure there was someone camped in this right out there. It probably didn't look like it does now, which of course it wouldn't have looked like it does now 100 and some years ago. But if I was to find a bullet out there like that, I would have to say, then there was someone come through here in camp that was fighting in the Civil War and fighting, moving wherever to, probably maybe right over into Louisa, heading that way,
Could
or
have been
coming from there. I mean, you can only speculate on all of that. So,
and the only way to find it is to get out there and swing it. So
that's the only way. Yeah,
that is the only way. Absolutely.
Those 3-ringers are elusive. They sometimes ring up and they disappear on you. They're really strange at times, especially if the ground's very mineralized. They can be tricky to find. But yeah, you're right. If you start digging out nails and get rid of all the junk. This one stream that I was talking about, where I found like a whole lot of silver coins, I found them over the course of many years. And one of the reasons it took so long was there is so much lead in there, so many sinkers from Fisher. It's not exaggerating to say that I've at this point pulled out about 80 pounds of lead from this one area.
Wow.
And it was to like hone in on all the good targets, right? There was so much lead disguising. Sometimes I would swing over, there's a lot of bedrock in there and a lot of crevices, and sometimes I'd swing over and hear signals, and you almost pull out a handful of lead in, you know, one shot just from many years of fishing. But yeah, there's some places you just have to clean out like crazy just to get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we have found. Like, I think altogether there's been like 9 wheat pennies pulled out of the yard here. Mm-hmm. And we keep saying there's got to be a silver laying in this yard. I mean, Wheaties are like when you hit Wheaties, you're almost guaranteed there's going to be silver laying around.
Almost.
And so. I just keep thinking, and Melissa does too, that one day we're going to get out there and swing and hit that signal, and there it's going to be. I mean, you know, I still feel that there could be silver after 9 Wheaties. There's got to be a silver dime, a silver quarter, something laying out in this yard somewhere, silver. And it might take us a while to get, you know, it could be just a nail covering that silver signal that we're just not picking up. And, you know, one of these days we could get it cleared out, and then that signal will pop up.
Yep.
And there it be. But, you know, just got to keep getting out there and swinging and looking and cleaning the junk out. I mean, that's a big thing, is getting the junk cleaned out.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a place that Mike got me on that just, Rachel, actually, one of the first times she and I hunted together, I think it may have been the first time in West Virginia we went to that. They claim it's been hunted out. You know, Mike says that they would go there and find 30, 40, 50 bullets in a day. And the time that Rachel and I were there, like the weeds were so high. It was just so rough. We really had a rough time finding anything there. But I've gone back since, over the winter, and the weeds are down. And I was able to pull out 3 bullets from there, but it took like pulling so much iron signals out. And that's the only way I was getting it, was finding a bullet that was disguised by an iron signal that nobody else wanted to dig. But yeah, and we're finding shell frags there, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how, because there was a lot of people there, but I pulled a half real from there this last winter. So
wow.
Because the ground always changes, and not everybody swung over it. You know, I found those 2 signals up by that little patch of trees where the house was at.
Hey,
we think the one was the what was it? Shoot, now I can't remember. I can't remember.
With that little, the spring was there with that house right there. Yeah.
I found the rivet that had been Civil War rivet that had been flattened to be a poker chip.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a tiny little flat button and another rivet with the leather in it still. So there's still stuff there. It's just gonna be hard work to find it.
Yeah, I've been back there a couple times this winter. Just we've had the luckiest winter with it hasn't frozen. The ground hasn't frozen this winter. It's been so nice. I've been out
we had a little bit of freeze here. Because I took the Lynches to my closed Catholic school 1850s mansion permission, and we needed pickaxes. But the next day everything was melted, so it was just like a 1-day freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we never had no winter time here.
The weekend of Christmas was our coldest days. Other than that, it's been hit and miss. Oh, we've had some cold nights, but during the day's always been basically above freezing.
Yep.
The guy just said, best day ever. He found a Civil War Confederate snake buckle today.
Wow. Yeah, I was just reading that.
Oh,
wow.
Congratulations. Definitely.
Yes, definitely. Congratulations. And the chat, do you guys have any questions for Patrick?
Yep. Feel free
to ask. I know you usually do, but
otherwise, I'm going to ask Rachel's question. I think
you're going to ask Rachel's question.
We can ask my question because I already said I know what he does. So I got to ask.
What's some of the most necessary items you take detecting with you?
Oh yeah, Uncrustables. That's I probably, every time I go, I think I should probably have some extra things that I don't, like a little mini first aid kit. I don't carry one, but I probably should.
Yes, you should.
the picture of me in the stream in the summer. Number one, I'm not a huge fan of just baking in the sun, so I wear one of those like neck gaiter things. That one of the things that COVID brought was it's okay to wear something over your face. So I do bring one of those just so I can cover my neck up a little bit, because just I'm not baking in the sun all day. But I have I use a fanny pack, and I use to that I have a pouch that I believe they use for like putting in spent rounds, or magazines, like after, it's like a military pouch thing. And I've found that like the first time or two I've gone out detecting in the stream, I had a backpack because that's what I used to use when I would go just in parks or whatever. And it just doesn't work in a stream. Like if you're waist deep in water and you need to get something out of your pack, you try to get your pack off it and get in there. It's just too difficult. So having a pouch and a fanny pack, something you can reach with, is just a necessity. And I do use, if anybody follows Aqua Chigger, he has that pickaxe device that he has, and he's modified his, but I use that in the streams. So I always use that when I go detecting in the streams. And as far as bad encounters with critters or bugs, one time I did reach down trying to pull a I forget what it was, a dime or something, out of a crevice in the stream, and I pulled my hand out and there was a crayfish stuck, thankfully, to a glove. I do wear rubber gloves when I'm in the stream because there's so many fish hooks and stuff around. I never know, but yeah, I did have a crayfish I had to fling off my thing. And my greatest find, I said earlier, my World War II bracelet. But I honestly have been fortunate to be detecting for quite a few years. As far as coins go, I've got an 1889 silver dollar. I have a bunch of silver halves. I have 3 barber halves. I have 5 Spanish coins now. I have 2 reals. My oldest is a 1721. I have a Chinese coin dating back to the 1700s. So I have pretty nice collection of coins. I do have 1 Novo Constellatio. Just barely could make out a little bit on it to know that that's what it was. But 100 ticks.
Yeah.
Wow. I've had days where the ticks are out, but once I start getting a couple ticks on me, I usually leave. I don't find it worth detecting that much to get inundated with ticks.
I've not had any
8717
encounters with really any kind of bugs. Or now I know when I was detecting Miss Perry's yard, the lady you were, remember I just missed the yellow jacket's
nest. Yes. Yeah. Just missed it.
Yeah. I was thankful for that one because them things, oh man, they put a hurting on you.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I've not really had any encounters really either with bugs out in the woods and briars and stuff like that.
Briars and sticker bushes.
Poison ivy, poison oak, whatever poison weed you can get into. I've had it. So
yeah.
But
a snake. I got sumac in my eye.
Ugh. Oh gosh.
A717.
Wow.
Hey, there's Orlando. Orlando lives near me.
But yeah, never no run in with. Well, last April, Melissa, we did see a couple of snakes.
Yes, that's the reason I said March is our cutoff time, because last year doing the home sites, we did a couple in April, and we saw a couple of snakes.
Yeah.
And so I said,
yeah, because I don't want to be down in the weeds and reach my hand down in something and get
no.
Yeah, I do get the occasional water snakes will go by in the streams. They usually don't really mess with you too much. They'll just take off from you. I do keep a distance, and that's another nice thing. I would never I would never intentionally harm an animal, but it's one nice thing about that pickaxe to have that is if something ever were to come towards me, I have something to at least, protect myself a little bit. I used to worry a lot, and I've done some videos on turtles. I used to worry a lot about snapping turtles because I've read some stuff about them, and I know Aqua Chigger's done videos on finding them and how they burrow under the mud. I have encountered a couple, and they seem to want to do nothing with you at all. So unless you stepped on one unknowingly, I think they're not going to bother you. But I am careful about where I go.
Right.
Yeah.
I was talking about that recently, that I'm never careful because I forget where we have snappers here.
Yeah.
But I don't even think about it. And like in my county, there's really not much that's going to harm you. So, and here, I go to other states and I'm just like, not even thinking about it. I was with Matt Jones and Thomas Barnes and Gypsy. We were in Texas last year and on a river on all these rocks looking for, artifacts. And we're just putting our hands in crevices and not even thinking about it. I gotta start thinking I'm not home.
Yeah, I think about stuff like that. I just don't want to get. I just don't want to get bit. Especially
I think out of most of them, the ones you got to worry about probably are snakes, but that's only if you take them by surprise. So if you're loud and noisy, they don't want to mess with you. I think from what I understand, the only ones that'll come at you intentionally are copperheads. So, it's like, oh, you're a human. All the other ones will run from you.
Oh, goodness. I don't know what I would do. I just don't know what. Well, the thing about it is where we are at.
It's like Indiana Jones, snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Falling into a pit of them.
We are so far out that if we were to get bit by a venomous snake, we would probably croak before we.
And depending on where you get bit, I ain't sucking no venom out.
Robert, please. I know that you will.
I have to be out, Melissa. Good luck.
Isn't that actually supposed to be the technique?
I don't know.
To make a crisscross at the point of where it bites and just to suck it out as quickly as you can. I want to say that is one of the things to do if you have no other.
That's like really old school, and it's not really doesn't really do much for you.
It sounds right, but don't take advice from me on that subject.
So I don't know. Ooh, Cynthia, this makes twice now, doesn't it, Cynthia? See, Cynthia knows. Cynthia knows all about it.
I have been bit by a turtle before, but not a snapper.
Have you?
How long did it take it to let go?
Until I finally yanked it off my thumb. I was dangling it almost. It was a box. It was a tortoise, a box turtle.
Okay.
And well, at the time I thought it was a she, so I named it Cleopatra, but it was a he. Shortened it to Cleo. But I was feeding him something, and when he went to bite it, he got my thumb. And I was like, I'm running around the house with this turtle. He was fully grown at the time. He was pretty heavy, finally yanked him off. But yeah, it hurt.
I would say so.
I'm glad it wasn't a snapper. I wouldn't have a thumb anymore.
Gosh.
Yeah, I don't know 717. I mean, is
sucking it out even good for you? Well, I
heard it wasn't. So, I mean, I read that on a medical thing one time. So. Like it doesn't. I think it's just in your head. I mean, the venom moves so quickly through you.
Yes, that's the thing, isn't it?
And then it's like it also kills the tissue.
Yeah,
your skin tissue too. So
now the thing I've heard is the adults usually will not bite you and give a lethal.
They can control their venom.
It's the little ones that you have to watch out for because that's what I've read.
They have no control of how much they.
Yeah. So, it's not the big ones you want to worry about, but the little ones.
Well, when we went last year in April, I did take some mothballs with me because if you throw mothballs
they'll
out,
scatter.
The snakes will scatter. We used to live at a place, and the concrete porch, there was a copperhead up under it. And so Robert threw mothballs, and it was no time it come out.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do not like mothballs. So
yeah,
if you live in an area where you're troubled with snakes, just
mothballs.
throw mothballs. Just go around your house and put some around the perimeter, and they'll stop.
It does work.
It does work.
It
They'll
helps,
stop coming
definitely.
around.
Yeah.
We found that out living out here in the country that yes. It does work.
Now, I do have a question, and this isn't one that we generally ask, but Robert and I are planning on going out tomorrow, and we're going to detect. And we said, well, let's give it an hour apiece. If we don't find anything, we'll go on to digging. How long do you give it, Patrick, when you go out to detect?
Go into
a new site, new area? How long do you give it before you move on?
Be like, okay,
I'm not finding anything. I need to move on.
I've got all the patience in the world. I just like being out there. So if I'm on a new site, I don't know. I tend to go out detecting. Like I try to get out once a week. If I can get out twice, great. But I try to save like one weekend day. And because I'm in the streams, I'm always looking for I'm always looking for like it's got to be the right temperature out. The rain, it can't have rained previous, to going out, because you need the stream levels to be low. So everything's got to line up just right. So when I've got something in mind and I go, I just keep going, and I'll work the site, and if it just doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. But yeah, I'll stay on the site for 7-8 hours, and I won't go back if it doesn't produce. But
I see.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been places with friends and after a certain amount of time they kind of give up and like run off and we try somewhere else. I'll follow them around, but I'd rather just stay somewhere and know for sure that it's truly worked out. But,
yeah.
And one of the things that I found is absolutely detecting with friends is far more beneficial. I detected for many years just on my own. And, when I first started, I kind of thought that's what you did. Like, if you went somewhere where there was good stuff, like, wouldn't you want to be there by yourself so you can collect it all? But I definitely find now that, like if you're working old farms or wooded areas and you're looking for old sites, or if you're looking for, where there was like Civil War activity, you're way better off doing it with friends because, honing in on those spots and finding the spot. Like once you find it, they have to be willing to share it with each other. I can't tell you how many times Mike and I have been out where, I've found something or he's found something and we call each other over like immediately. We're like, because we both want to videotape it, but we want to get the other person there because that's when you start finding things, so. And as a matter of fact, Rachel and I, we were with Mike last summer and, both Rachel and I were looking for our first Civil War bullets. And Mike found one on this one site we were at, and he called both of us over. And so both Rachel and I, she found 2 that day. I found 1. But, we all helped each other out. But yeah, there's no way about it. I think
we also said where not to go because there was nothing over there. How was that spot over in the corner? There wasn't even a peep.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of beer cans sitting on top, whatever it is.
Yeah, I know when me and Melissa go into an area, we've been in areas and we'll at least give it a couple of hours, and then I'll be like, I'm the one that's always like, there got to be something here, and she'll be sitting in the vehicle or walking away, and I'll continue looking because I just
after an
benefit
hour
of the doubt that there could be something there, but if all we're finding is junk or nothing at all, no signals at all, I know that last home site we went in, where you found the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the only signal, that and the mason jar lid that I found. There was nothing in there. I mean, no signals whatsoever, not even junk signals. And that's when I come to the conclusion someone's done been in here and hit this place. Well, then when we found the bottle dump where someone had been digging and placing bottles up on the rock.
Hey, 2 brothers.
Yeah, that I just come to the conclusion that someone done been in there and metal detected that place because there was just nothing come out of there other than that ring and the one mason jar lid. And did you find, was there
the little buckle?
The little buckle.
The little buckle. I don't think it had any age to it as far as that goes. Probably 60s, early 60s maybe. So but there was just
nothing.
It was a very nice home site. It was beautiful, but I think someone had already been there and had
cleaned it out. Yeah.
Detected. Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, we go in these sites. And I ain't tooting my own horn or nothing, but we never fail to find something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so.
Yeah. And, you know, and I guess that's part of the question, right? Like when you like ultimately decide to go somewhere.
Fix that, Ro.
Like, are you ultimately going somewhere because you did some research and this sounds like a good place? You know, and if that's the case, like I want to give it the time to see if, you know, the research paid off or not. But yeah, you know, you do get it to some sites where you really seriously have to question, you know, has this place been detected before or not? You know, you always want to find a silver coin somewhere, right? Like you said, when you start finding wheats, there should be silvers around, but sometimes you just don't find it, you know.
I'm trying to get you, Ro.
We're on StreamYard, not YouTube, Ro. So okay, you're taken care of.
You should be now. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't do it.
Sorry about that.
We were on a site that this past weekend, like I said, where I found that little tractor, and the age of the home was built in the late 1700s. So we were absolutely expecting to find, you know, a lot of buttons, a lot of coppers, you know, and the owner told us, to his knowledge, and he's lived there for over 50 years, to his knowledge, it's never been detected. And we got there and we just weren't finding anything that really would take us back to the 1800s. You know, we found a lot of modern, like, you know, 1900s, 20, like the little toy tractor was probably like 1930s, 1940s. You know, we were finding wheat cents, but you know, nothing. A couple Mercs came out, and our best guess was that just it was landscaped at some point. They came in and put like a paved road in that wouldn't have existed there in the 1700s. Obviously, that they probably did that and they pushed dirt around, and you know that's our best guess. But but we did. One of our friends, she found a KG. So we did eventually figure out, okay, there's some 1700 stuff here, but it was so bitter cold that it was so windy that day. But
I hate going out in the cold wind trying to detect and do stuff. Tomorrow's gonna be nice.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 39 tonight, so it'll be cool in the morning, but
it's supposed to be what, 66,
66,
68.
Yeah.
So it'll be really nice.
Be a nice day to get out.
Yeah,
thanks for coming, AC.
We haven't been out the past couple of weekends.
No, we have not.
Weather's
not allowed.
Rained last Sunday all day here, so there was no getting out in there.
It is 9:38. Was there something maybe that we were going to do?
Was we?
I think so.
Refresh my memory.
We normally don't do a second one.
Yeah, I know it. But tonight we decided
we're going to do another giveaway, guys.
A surprise giveaway before we left.
And I think it might have a little silver in it.
Yes, it will. And I'll have to get that set up.
Yes. He's got to get it set up.
But we just wanted, for everyone that stuck around tonight,
give
everyone a little chance for something nice. So we're going to do a second giveaway here, and you're going to get a chance to win this 1942 Wing Liberty or Mercury dime, depending on how you want to call it. I like, a lot of people call them Mercury, but they're really not Mercury. It's a wing. What's actually considered a Wing Liberty, but that's okay. Whatever you like to call it. And we're going to throw in one.
Oh my gosh, this
Clark's
is going back in time.
Yeah, that's a limited edition Clark's Cove small town to worldwide sticker along with that. So what will we have them hashtag for this, Melissa?
I don't know. How about just CCD?
And choose this.
But I'm going to leave that up to you.
We had discussed something.
Maybe we had discussed. You know my memory. What did we discuss? Silver?
Silver.
Silver.
Yeah. So
See,
hashtag.
It was there in the memory bank somewhere.
SILVER.
Yes.
And let's start doing this.
Yes. So
And
everyone,
we'll come over.
hashtag silver. He's sharing the screen now. Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Start hashtagging silver to get in on this giveaway.
And we'll do that right about 5 till 10.
Okay.
So that'll
Well,
give
thank you,
everyone
Danny boy.
a few minutes to, and like I said, that is a 1942 Merc or Winged Liberty. And then you'll get one of the special edition Clark's Cove Small Town Worldwide stickers.
Yep. Absolutely.
Not a lot of those floating around out there.
No, there is not a lot of those floating around.
Yeah, but a few. So.
Yeah, yep. Absolutely.
So,
but getting back to our guest, Patrick, we want to thank you so much for being a guest.
It's been a
pleasure listening to you tell your stories and about your finds and your experiences. It's just been awesome. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate being here. This is great. Yeah. Love to do it again for sure. Yeah. I absolutely love talking about metal detecting. So I'm more than happy to do this. Yeah.
I like talking metal detecting, but I'm one of those, I'd rather get out and do it.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, it is. I mean, I love talking about it too, but I'm just one of those that would just rather get out and detect. And me and Melissa are always ones that we love to sit, and at the end of the day, after we've got home, we've got our video edited and put together, and we always sit and watch it several times to make sure it's the way we want it. And it's always fun sitting, talking about the day and our finds, and we like that aspect of it.
We do.
Talking about mountain.
But going back to, and Robert, he's a go-getter. When we get out there and detect, his mind is on finding the finds. And as you see at the end of the wrap-up, he has more finds than I do. He has more trash than I do, because I am one of those. I like to walk and look. I'll see the foundation. I'm a sightseer. I try and picture, okay, I wonder if the front door was here, the back door. Okay, the well's positioned here. The outhouse had been over here. And I just think of their paths that they took. And so I'm a wanderer. My mind just twirls, and I'll sit down and look and think. And that's just my thoughts out there that I'm having. And that's enjoyable to me while detecting.
My thoughts just finding what I can find.
His thoughts is just finding as much as he can find.
I know Melissa's a lot of times she's the one that's like, okay, let's go take lunch. It's time for lunch. So I'm like, yeah, give me a few more minutes.
More minutes turns into an hour.
I'll start heading that way. No, it's never that bad. But
it feels
start heading that way, and I always like to swing heading back to the truck, because you just never know when you've swung over something, just missed it. And
I swear there's more good stuff right by your car. I swear. Like I've been to so many places where you get out of the car and you start getting ready to go, and you look across the field and oh, that big old tree, that's the place I got to be. And you go over there and you spend forever, you find nothing. And you go back to your car, and while you're swinging, it's like, that's where you find all the change or the good stuff. Yeah. I found last spring a half real right next to my car, 10 feet from my car.
Yes,
and there's good stuff always by the car.
I don't know how many channels we watch, and people are always like, well, we're getting ready to call it a day, and we're heading back to the truck or the car, and then the next thing you know, they're coming back. Wow, look what I found 3 feet from the truck or the car.
Exactly. Digologist.
I love stuff like that, because a lot of people will get out of their vehicle, I think, and never think about stopping and hunting around their vehicle where they're parked. They just automatically start walking off and swinging, and then when they're going back to their vehicle and they get close to it, then it's, oh, well, why didn't I do that when I got out?
That happens a lot. And if you think about it, so I think metal detecting is going to change in the future, and it's in some ways a little sad, but you're not going to be able to get clad anymore. And maybe that's an okay thing, because I'll be honest, when I first started detecting, clad was fun to accumulate, but now I'd rather find, older coins. But if you think about it, when I used to detect parks a lot, I would search around parking areas, because people coming to and from their cars, getting their keys out, would drop change. change would just come out of their pocket. But number one, a lot of cars, you don't even have to get your keys out of your pocket anymore. You just walk up and touch the door. And number two, a lot of people aren't even carrying money around anymore.
Yeah, it's getting hard to find clad on the beaches.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a point in time where people just aren't losing clad anymore.
Me and Melissa have talked about that a lot of the young detectorists, that might be in their early teens or early 20s, shoot, by the time they're our age, the pennies that's being dropped are not going to be found because they deteriorate so bad.
The zincs,
zinc pennies, they're not going to be finding pennies, and if they do, it's going to be a relic to
yeah.
and when it comes to wheat pennies and stuff, I think the groups that's out there now finding them are going to clean the ground out from a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
My dad, he detected in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and in a lot of areas that I have went back and hunted where I know he hunted, especially down in River Park. He used to hunt that park almost every Sunday. He'd be down there in the afternoon or Saturday and hunting. And I'm sure he cleared out a lot of stuff in his day from some of these areas that I know we hunt the parks that he's hunted.
Right.
Back. So, yeah. And now we're hunting and
see you two brothers.
Still
Thanks
clearing out more stuff. So younger detectorists, when they start, and there's not going to be nothing much for them to eventually to find.
Yep. Yeah. It's getting less and less, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
But we love to
it'll come down to some. It'll come down to some creativity, and just not being afraid to go door knock, and just get onto properties that just have never been detected. I'm sure there'll be stuff around for a while, but yeah, it's definitely going to get harder and harder to find stuff.
It will be, definitely. Yep.
Because I can remember Dad coming home from a day of metal detecting, and he would have, he'd have pocket full of wheat pennies and silver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, man, he's hunting back before metal detecting got popular like it is today. I mean, I'd have to figure he was probably one of the very few that was metal detecting our area. If any other people were metal detecting in this area back in the 60s and 70s and even in the 80s, I think he actually hung up metal detecting probably around 88 or 89, 90, somewhere around in there when he actually quit metal detecting. And then I know there, a few years before he passed away, he was wanting to try to get back out and go metal detecting again.
Mm-hmm.
But he was too old and couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It actually even went and bought a metal detector, and I don't even know what kind it was. And when he passed away, of course, I had no interest in metal detecting at that time and back in 2012. And so I ended up, that metal detector was still brand new in the box, and I ended up giving it to my nephew, and don't know what ever happened to it. So, yeah. We do things like that. Now I think back, that was a brand new metal detector, and I don't even know. It was probably a white because he used, and I have that metal detector. It's a white Coinmaster 6000D.
Yeah.
And I have it out there in the shop. But he had went and bought that new, and it was probably a white.
Okay, Alicia, we'll look.
And I remember when he got it, I took it out in the yard and he didn't like it. I remember him saying he did not like that metal detector. He didn't like the display on it. And of course, like I said, I wasn't interested in it at the time, so I never even looked at it or paid any attention to it. But if I have to say, it was probably a White's.
Probably.
Whites were good. That was, like I said earlier, that was my first machine, a White's Prism too. That thing would sniff out coins. It was so good at like getting into a park and just, it was great at finding coins.
Yeah. Like I said, he'd come home with his pockets full of change.
Yeah.
I remember when I first met Robert, my father-in-law, well, he wasn't my father-in-law at the time, but he liked to talk about his finds, and he had all of his rings on this big chain.
Yeah,
and I'm looking at those and I'm thinking, oh, that's pretty. That's a silver.
Yeah,
and there's,
I'd hate to say how many rings he
and
had
I
found.
have several of those,
of the silver rings,
that he gave me
Yep.
off and on. He'd say, "Oh, Melissa, pick one out that you
one.
like."
That's what he always loved to
And
do
he'd
that.
say, "Oh, pick you out another one," and I'd be like, "Ooh, you know."
He would always do that. He loved to show them rings off, and he said, "If there's one on there you want, just get it."
Yeah.
Because I don't care. Go ahead and get it. So, I mean, he'd give people wedding bands that he had found. Wow. I remember my stepbrother. He got married when he was getting married. Dad had a couple of wedding bands on there, a woman's wedding band and a man's, and they fit them, and that's where they got their wedding bands from. So, because he wouldn't get rid of nothing and he wouldn't sell nothing, he kept everything he found. So,
now what's I heard in your one video, were you at 107? The number of rings you're at?
Yeah, we're actually, I think that last one you found was at 107 or 108 or something like that.
Right in that vicinity, Patrick.
Yeah,
yes.
And that's been since we started in March of 2019.
Yes.
Yeah, we're actually, the 19th was of this month was our 4-year when we started detecting, but we didn't start our channel until December.
Making it up to Carolinas. Welcome.
So,
that's a super impressive ring count. Are you pulling that mostly from the curb strips? Like where you
parks,
curb strips?
Yeah.
Except that one that I found the first one of 2023 was there at the home site.
Yep.
Now, our second one, that video has not come out yet.
She finds another
I find
ring
another one at the home site. It's a copper ring with.
A copper one with a little,
does it have one or two sets? I know there's one missing. Yes.
And the other set's still in it.
And I was drawn to this area, Patrick. If I'm not mistaken, we were getting ready to break for lunch. And I wanted to do just a couple of more swings. And I kept looking. You know, you get this calling sometimes, but I kept looking over in this one particular area thinking, well, I wonder if Robert has swung there. Did I hit that last time?
Well, I have been.
And I thought, well, I'm going to give it a quick swing. And I hit that signal and I'm like, wonder what that is. And stuck that digger down in there, and there it was. I said, Robert, I've got a ring. I said, it's nothing precious to someone at the time. They lost it, you know. But that would have been the second ring. Yeah.
So she's got 2023 started off with 2 rings already. So I've got some making up to do.
That's an impressive count. I find them mostly in streams, but I'm not finding like a ton of them. But yeah, I do find occasional rings popping out of streams. Yeah.
Well, we are heading up on the 10 o'clock hour, and I think we have a giveaway to do.
If you all popping in real quick, hashtag silver.
Hashtag silver for this last giveaway.
Silver
dime.
For this silver Mercury dime and a Clark's Code Small Town Worldwide sticker. So we're going to do that.
Yeah, once those stickers are gone, they're gone.
Yeah, once those stickers are gone, they'll be gone.
It was an exclusive.
Yep. Yeah, we've done that with several stickers, make them just limited edition stickers. So.
Yeah, Mona's saying, come on, spring. We have got, it was close to 70 here today, or did it get 70?
It did get 70.
But the winds were outrageous. Absolutely.
It was cold and rainy and windy here.
Robert said he actually felt the house shake at one time. The wind was so strong.
Went through here, and I could feel this house shake. I mean, it was some crazy wind come through here today.
Yep.
I don't like the wind like that. I just don't.
You definitely don't want to be out in the woods during that time.
No.
Nope.
Never know either, but
yeah.
Tree fall.
Widowmakers. Definitely.
I've been in the woods where a tree went down maybe 50 feet from me.
Oh gosh.
I've seen DNL Treasure in here. I wanted to announce that they will be joining our Digging Sundays lineup tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
Starting right after Tracy with
Texas Plug Riches.
And then DNL Treasure will have their video up. So
they will be on at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
And that's 5 o'clock
their time
because they're on the West Coast. But we won.
But welcome DNL Treasures to Digging Sundays. Yes, absolutely.
I knew there was something I forgot at the beginning of the show, and that's what it was.
Yep. Jim Steele says he's got 3 inches of snow last night. You keep it, Jim Steele.
You all keep it wherever you're at.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 5 till. Let's see who's going to win this Silver Mercury Dime.
Let's see who's going to win that.
What do you think?
Let's do a countdown starting with 10,
9,
8,
7,
6,
5,
4,
3,
2,
1, and
good luck, everybody.
Let's see who we have.
Let's see who the lucky person is tonight.
It's going to
Connie Barnes.
Connie. And I know she just won last week, but she's going to get this.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Tonight.
It doesn't matter whose name it is.
And how soon you won.
Did he miss 5, Danny boy?
Oh, did I miss 5? But yes, Connie.
Congratulations. Barnes. Yes, congratulations.
1942 Mercury Dime.
Are you still in the chat?
She was.
Connie?
I had just seen her in here. So yeah, I meant to tell. I meant to say that it didn't matter if you just won or not. We were giving that away to whoever won it, no matter what. So,
Connie Barnes, are you still in chat?
Because I know sometimes we like to
spread the wealth.
Spread it out so everyone gets a
Connie
chance
Barnes
to win.
is still here, so we will get that out to you on Tuesday.
We
Connie.
will, Connie. Awesome. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Congratulations on that.
Yes.
And Robert's ordered some new items for us to do.
We're not going to talk about that until we get them.
I know. I didn't say what they were.
So,
I just said some new items. Yeah. I got to zip it. Zip it. Zip it.
But I think people are going to like them.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. Absolutely.
Well, guys, I know there's still 30 people in this chat, but we're going to get ready.
I tell you all the time, you just got to say good night to them, and
I know
it.
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
Well, they might not be, Rach.
That happens to them every Wednesday night, and they're here Saturday, so they're fine.
But yes, we'll be back next Saturday night with another live stream, another great guest. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. But yeah, we're going to get ready and call it a night. Patrick, hang around in the back room for a few minutes.
We'll do.
And we'll be right back with you.
All right.
And
thank you so much.
Thank you for being a part
of
the show tonight. Yes. And everyone, if you're not familiar with Patrick's channel, Stories from the Signal, please go over and subscribe and watch.
Rachel dropped the link in chat earlier, so it is there.
You're not going to be disappointed.
And there it is again, guys. Go over and check him out. Be sure and tell him at Clark's Cove Detecting sent you. Yes. Absolutely.
We'll throw it up there. So thanks, Patrick, and we'll be right back with you.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks.
Yep. Let's keep Rachel up with us this evening. Let's do that.
I think we should.
I think we should.
Yes, absolutely. I think we can do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tonight it's 70 and 15 and 15.
15 and 15 and 70, yeah. We want to thank each and every last one of you for joining us here tonight. Jim. It's always a great time here at the Command Center and the Cove. Everyone that shows up.
Yeah, we always Robert and I enjoy it. We just hope you guys do, and I think you do.
And congratulations to Bill.
Yes, to Bill, Papa Rouse, What's in the Dirt, and to Connie Barnes.
Connie
on the silver tonight, Connie. Congratulations. We'll have that stuff out in the mail Tuesday. More than likely we'll have that stuff out. Everyone. Yep. And like I said,
Rachel don't need sleep. She's a power walker.
Power walker.
I'm a power dragger. I drag my ass all day to make my 8 hours.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a great night. And like I said, we'll see you all next Saturday night, 8 o'clock, same place.
Yes.
Same time, same place.
And go over and check out Rachel on Wednesday 7:30.
And tomorrow night, starting at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Digging Sunday starts with
Metal Mike and
Persis, and then Team Lynch, Clark's Cove, Tracy with Texas Plug Riches, and starting with
DNL Treasures.
Is going to be joining us tomorrow night on Digging Sunday. So
look at that. You got a whole weekend of back-to-back premieres.
Yeah.
Yes, it's awesome. Everyone's premiere stuff's doing great.
I mean, think so too.
Awesome.
Rachel premieres on Fridays. I did Fridays. Go over and check her out. It's usually around 8:00.
Yeah, 8:00.
We still yet to watch her premiere from Friday.
Yes. We Friday night we did not do.
We didn't do nothing Friday.
No, I didn't watch it either.
So you didn't watch it either.
See you, Rob.
Yeah, thanks for joining,
But
Rob.
yes, we are heading out early in the morning.
Yeah, we're going to get out and do some detecting and digging.
Do some detecting the first part and some dump digging the second half. That is the plan, guys.
And
that's the plan.
Have a good day.
Yep.
I'm sure we will.
I'll fix us some hot dogs and some little snacks and
always got to have snacks.
Always got to have food. Absolutely.
Yep. So
Yep.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're going to go.
Yep.
Rachel, say good night.
Good night, Rachel.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you all for
joining. And like we always like to say here at Clark's Cove Detecting,
if you lose it,
I find it. No, we find it. And we'll see you all on that first good.
Cover find.
Thanks for joining, everyone. We'll see you next Saturday night. Have a good evening and be safe this weekend if you're out running around metal detecting. And
yes, be safe.
Always. And if you're traveling, be safe.
Yes, absolutely.
See you next weekend, guys. Love y'all.
Love ya.